Hello, Brick Sculptors, and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and I got something cool to share with you today. Back in my birthday in April, a long time ago, my daughter got me this as a gift. She knows that I love Lego, of course, so always tries to find cool Lego things, and I don't do a lot of sets, so I had kind of procrastinated this, which was bad of me. I should have built it sooner, but I had some free time. I took some vacation time here from work, so I said, hey, I got to build this. And it's a Speed Champions 2 Mercedes Benzes here. I happen to have a bit of a thing for Mercedes. I'm not much of a car person, but I did spend a little bit over 3 years selling Mercedes Benzes. So I know these cars pretty well. I used to sell them. I used to sell G-Classes, SLs as well. So this is pretty cool. It really hits home for me. And if there is a car that I'm a big fan of, it's Mercedes, just because I know it well and I've had experience selling them. So I built this, and the builds were a lot of fun. I always forget how much fun Speed Champions are until I build one, because they're just fantastic builds. I mean, the quality that they do, the design on these is just amazing. This is the SL, of course. I was a little surprised they did an SL and not an AMG GT, because the AMG GT is like all the hype, but I think they had redesigned the SL fairly recently, and that's why they did the SL63 instead. But to me, the most enjoyable part of this was by far the G-Class. I mean, this G-Class looks ridiculously good. Just an amazing design, and the build was so great. If you want a masterclass in using jumper plates, this is the build right here. Trust me, you will learn something. The amount of techniques that come into this with jumpers. I mean, look at this. This base is 5 wide here. You got all kinds of different staggered plates, and the construction is just insane, and it comes together so nicely. And the way they get all these angled pieces in here is just really next level. The design of this is fantastic. Definitely the better of the two builds, although I do like the SL as well. But that was just a lot of fun to build and came out so nice. Now, I have a love-hate thing with Speed Champions. I love building them because they're just great builds. They're very well thought out. They're super detailed. But the hate thing comes in when it comes to scale. You know, the minifigs compared to the vehicles are just tiny. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And I get why they do it. It's almost like they need a minifig specific to Speed Champions. I mean, look at how small this person looks next to this G-Class. This would be like a child at best. I mean, this person next to this G-Class, the G-Class looks like an MRAP, not a G-Class, which, you know, MRAP is a full-blown military vehicle that SWAT teams use. So, you know, the thing that stinks about this is I can't really use these vehicles in my Lego cities because they're just too big. I know some people do it, but my city's not that big. My roads aren't that wide. It just doesn't work well. I did a little bit ago, also did a video, actually a long time ago, on these two that I built, which are also Mercedes. I think I'm going to start a theme here where I'm going to buy all the Mercedes Speed Champions. These are pretty cool too. We have the F1 car here with Lewis Hamilton, who is no longer with Mercedes, unfortunately. And here we have the Project 1. I was actually selling Mercedes when this project was going on. They hadn't produced it yet other than a prototype. I believe they made 100 of them. They were asking $1 million for each, and you had to apply to get one. We did have a customer at the dealership try to get one. They were a big spender, high roller, and they had put in an application and been denied, even though they had bought several $100,000+ Mercedes over the last 10 years. That's how difficult it was to get. But the vehicle was pretty cool. It was based off their F1 car and turned into basically a street car version. The cool thing about this too is that this vehicle is pretty much halfway between the F1 car and the SL, although more the GT, but same difference. So it's kind of cool you have the progression here. One thing I really dislike about this is these stickers. I mean, they color match these horribly. And Lego has gone to more and more stickers over the years, which I don't love. It just makes it easier to mess up. It makes it easier to make the color match bad. But it is what it is, I guess. These ones are a lot better color matched. You can hardly see that that's a sticker. And same with the G-Class. The stickers color match really well. Although it's black, it's pretty easy to color match. But anyway, the point of this video is not to go on and on about Mercedes-Benz and Speed Champions. The point of this video is to show my solution to a problem here. So I love this G-Class. I want it in my Lego City, but it's just way too big. So I said, okay, I'm going to build one that will fit in a Lego City. And this is what I came up with. So I kind of took the front end from this SL, where I had those 1x1 rounds stacked sideways, popped them in there, and then I have kind of the rounded headlights, shaped the hood to be kind of similar to this triangular hood here, trapezoidal, whatever the shape is. And, you know, we have our side skirts, our fender flares. I couldn't do the very angular fender flares. There just isn't enough room, so I have curved ones. But I think they look pretty good. I did put the tire on the back. I was debating if I should just leave that off or not. But they generally do have a wheel on the back. They usually are covered, like this one. But I should say always are covered. But I didn't have a good way to do that because 3x3 round is a tricky size to get. So I just put it on there and I put a cover over the front. I did have extra Mercedes symbols from these builds. They give you extra small parts. So I had two symbols. One of them's on the front. The other one is right here. I did contemplate putting it in the middle of here, but it looks good from like a head on. But when you go sideways, it kind of sticks out far and looks kind of dumb. So I might leave it on. I might take it off. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that. The mirrors, really cool on these bar pieces. So you can kind of tilt them up or down, in or out. So a lot of adjustability to them. I love that design for mirrors. The interior is actually quite nice. I don't usually put a lot of focus on the interior on my vehicles, but this one I did. Whoops. Taking the top off is not the easiest thing on this one. So I got the headrests in there. Obviously, you're not going to fit two minifigs side by side in this, but the detail is what counts, at least to me. There's our dash up there. We got the steering wheel, glove box, and I want it to look kind of like black leather, so I had those ingot pieces there. I think it turned out pretty nice. And the minifig does fit in there just fine. And then, of course, we had to get the iconic tailpipes, and that was done like this. So I've got some brackets under here, some of these angled pieces, and the tailpipes. One of the biggest things with the G-Class, you got to have the tailpipes coming out the side, on both sides, and I think it turned out pretty cool. So now this one's going to go into my city. I have to be a little careful how many fancy cars I build because my city is kind of outdoors, backwoods themed. And though there may be a few glampers, there's not going to be a lot of that out there. So one G-Class will look just fine. But if I do a lot of race cars, it's going to look a little goofy. So I'm going to stick to more SUVs, campers, and pickup trucks than anything. But this one will blend in. It'll be in there, and it'll just be that one person who's on vacation who can afford the big house in there or whatever. So, hope you guys like this. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I'll do my best to answer them. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to do more just like this in the future. That's all I have for this time, and we will see you next time.